Meet the person who like invented the internet and just ask him, did you ever think it would just be used for porn?
It's a lot of porn. It is a considerable amount of porn.
But then there's also the things like, you remember about 8 years ago, Donald Trump when he's first running for office, and that leaked audio of him talking about grabbing the pussy.
Yep.
And then now there's a dance or a song thing where he's talking about eat the cat, eat the cat, eat the cat. And I'm just like, well, we've come a long way from grab the pussy to eat the cat.
Well, he's consistent with his messaging, if nothing else. He's got a vision, and that vision
has to do with cats.
Involves cats. He's very much
some way.
He's very much like Alf, the alien of the beloved 80s show. And on that note, Raging Nerd presents Welcome to Three Lame Guys, where there are three of us. We're lame and we're guys, and this is a podcast. Woo! And our podcast, if you've listened to any of our episodes, sometimes have a topic, sometimes don't have a topic. And TJ's thrown down the gauntlet of the internet. Is it good? There's a college class out there that has frivolously written about this at such a esoteric speed of, well, here's my actual doctoral degree that says the internet is bad because black market porn, and it's like, well, it's good because porn. It's like, well,
cat memes.
Cat memes and porn. Jared, we've started the audio podcast.
Oh,
Mr.
hey.
Cack. I'm joined by my brother Nerd Jared and our friend TJ. And TJ has posed a question that immediately made me think we should start the podcast episode, and it wasn't a question. It was just a statement. He declared that he was happy. He wanted to thank the person that made the internet, or
Well, I wanted to ask the person who made the internet. One, did you ever think it would be used exclusively for porn?
Yep.
Because let's face it, it is. But also, kind of going back, back to 2016 when Donald Trump was first running for office. The leaked audio of him coming out where he's talking about, grabbing the pussy, and now there's the song that someone turned into a song from whenever the debate when he talked about they're eating the cats and the dogs. And so now like there's this video of, it's like, eat the cat.
I think I've seen that one.
And I want to say that the internet is lovely. There's awful parts of the internet, but that's like taking like a moral stand against Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Do I fundamentally know that it's horrible for my body? Yeah. But guess what?
Sometimes you need it, though.
Sometimes I need to clog my lower digestive tract with as much cheese sauce and beans as I possibly can, to the point that I have a life-altering constipated poo that makes me question everything in the world. Or just the most explosive speedrun diarrhea I've ever encountered in my life. Though I'll say this, to Taco Bell's credit, I don't necessarily get the explosive diarrhea from them. You know who I do get it from, TJ and Jared?
Chipotle.
Mexican restaurants. So what does that say to you, non-Americans? I love calling them Mexican restaurants because every time I talk to anyone that works at one, it's like, I'm actually from Honduras.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just what you Americans like. And it's like,
I like doing the I'm very white, but I'm trying to speak Spanish kind of thing.
Yeah, that's called Jared and I's father. I'm gonna get some of them chimichangas.
Gracias.
Gracias. Chimichanga, father. There's an ing in it. There's an ing. Get the ing, father. Give me that chimichangas.
No, actually, no. Okay, so to be fair to our father, he wouldn't even get that close. He'd call it a chimichalupa. Like to this day, he cannot pronounce the brand of his own sewing machine. For those that don't know,
is it a singer?
No. Well, so it's his the machine he makes T-shirts and stuff on. Now the brand is Tajima, Tajima. Not one time have I heard him call it Tajima. Sorry, Tajima, Tajima. Not one time have I heard him call it that. He's called it a Tamagotchi. He's called it a Tamaji. He's called it everything, and keep it now. And I have extensive knowledge of this machine too, because we're about to go down a rabbit trail, boys.
Well, you go down that trail. I'm gonna go get some water.
I'm here, brother. Go down that trail.
TJ's probably already heard this story anyway, so
I'm buckled in, Jared. Give it to me. Lay it on me.
So our mine and Cac's dad has a little side hustle where he does T-shirts for companies. He puts their logo on it, and it uses software that was developed and built sometime in the late 70s, I think. This machine still runs all the designs. So you do the design on the computer program. Then you take the design from the computer over to the machine. Now, in today's day, we would probably just hook up the machine to the computer, which are things you can do via a simple thing like a USB cord. But let's just say for just a quick second that we don't have that capability. Well, at least in today's day and age, we can save that information to a USB flash drive and then transfer it over if we can't hook it up directly. But no. That's not what this machine runs off of. This machine still runs off 3.5-inch floppy drive.
That's impressive. Because
and do you know what happens if something happens to a 3.5-inch floppy drive?
You better have a time machine.
You're effed is what happens.
You better have a time machine.
Apparently, this machine has a battery, and if you unplug it for too long and the battery dies, it uninstalls the software. Now, how do you suppose, just spitball and throw something out there, how do you suppose the easiest way to reinstall that software is?
Go to eBay and hope to God someone is selling floppy disks.
No. Oh. Even better. You have to. This is okay. And I also want to preface this that our dad knows very little to not much about anything computer related.
Yeah.
I have not messed with 3.5-inch floppy drives in quite a while. So, naturally, when this thing went down, who gets the phone call? The only brother that lives in Ozark that knows anything about computers. I don't know how much time I spent at his house. I've been on the phone with and this is, I don't know how I got a hold of a guy in New York, and I was like, listen, can we just replace the drive and go to, I know it's old, but it's still a pin thing. There's got to be a USB. Oh, yeah, we make a USB drive. I'm like, cool. I got his credit card. Let's get one of those, and let's get this show on the road. He's like, well, okay, but. And I was like, no. What's the but? He said, being that the software is so old, we can change it to a USB flash drive, but if this happens again, you will have to reinstall the software from the 3.5-inch floppy disk drive. And I said, just send me the disk. Just send me the disk. We'll keep doing what we're doing. And on that disk was a little code, and you got to turn on this machine and punch in a series of things onto it that it tells you in this book to reset it. Finally got it reinstalled. Well, during that entire process, Dad was running this computer that was running off like Windows 2000. It was very old. And it was one that he got from the school. So it was like, it had no room left to do anything on it. So we found a refurb on Amazon for like $300. It had the processors that I wanted. I was like, this should be fine. This should be plenty. This should be well enough. Well, you take a chance when you buy a refurb, and my computer, the last two computers I had before I've got the one I've got now, which is not a refurb, were both refurbs, and they worked fine. And actually, my last computer worked great until I started getting into the video editing part of things, and then it was just like, oh, we can't do this. You're putting too much on us. You're just putting too much on us. Well, it worked fine for a little bit, and then we got the blue screen of death. And I thought, great, that's perfect. So we changed computers, then the software quit, and we got the software installed. But lo and behold, after the computer died, I had to hook up one of his old computers, and I was like, this will work until you can find another one or want to, spend money on a new one, blah, 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 blah. Well, all those old designs that were saved on the computer now do not work. Nice. And we ended up having to get one of his buddies from the schools to take apart the hard drive and hook it up to get the designs back off. Then gave that to me on a flash drive, a good old-fashioned flash drive, to which I was able to reinstall them. And so that I don't know how we got down the rabbit trail with Dad talking about Tamaji chimichangas But there's a little rant for you.
Well, within your rant, it reminds me that I should inform people, if you're of a certain age, you have no idea how much effort went into just doing stuff on a computer when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Like, and to TJ's point, it is so much easier to find porn. It is the easiest thing in the world now. Back in my day, back when I was a maturing young lad, you had to hope that mom picked up a really interesting Sears catalog, and that there was a real poppin' lingerie display somewhere in that bad boy. Otherwise,
good old Sears
you just had to use your
catalogs.
imagination or destroy the pause function on your VCR.
Well, I'm just saying now, kids have it so easy. You know, back in our day, we had dial-up, and you had to sit there, and you had time to, basically clean the house after you clicked on to load an image, and then, it's just like, well, all right, and then you start vacuuming. By the time you get done with all your chores, you forget that you've even done it. You go back to the computer, like, all right, I think I'll check my. Whoa, still hasn't loaded.
It is fascinating to think about how much of a spoiled world we now live in.
I just remember someone when I was taking my computer classes a long time ago. They taught us some programming stuff. So I was like, all right, cool. So I made this program to where it's like, click this button, and you click the button and the button disappears and goes to somewhere else. It's like, click this button. And it's basically this just ongoing thing of you click this button and then when finally get to the end, it's like, click this button, and then you click the button and it just closes. And it's just like, I mean, it's basically like a 20-minute long trap of like, I need to get this off. The only way to do it is to click the button. But every time you click the button, it pops up somewhere else and you have to click that button and keep doing that. But someone else had created one and sent it to me. Basically it's like, click here for a free Coke holder or whatever. And you click it and it opens up the CD tray.
Nice.
I was like, that is funny. That's the kind of fun things we used to do with computers.
Back in our day.
You remember chat rooms?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. I was sitting there having a conversation with some of so I have employees and they are college students. And I was sitting there talking to one. I was telling him, I was like, I'm trying to do this thing, and kind of, the way I envision us kind of enacting it is that it's up to however the students want to interact. And I was like, they can, it can be a text, a phone call, it can be in person, it can be a voice chat through Teams, through Zoom, through Skype, through AOL Instant Messenger, through MSN Messenger. And as soon as I said those last two, you could tell they're like, what does that mean? And I was like, man, let me tell you, I used to have so much fun on MSN Messenger. Like that was my playground of fun. Slightly before me, I feel like people were just in AIM in the AOL Instant Messenger, and I dabbled with that a bit.
You had those certain people that you wanted to talk to, and you hoped that their little light turned green and they were online and something like that,
Or you would, or on AOL, I would leave people a bunch of nudges so that way when they did get on and open my box, it's like, like there's those shakes.
Oh, I remember that.
That's kind of my thing. That's what I like to do.
Remember when you had to get AOL through the discs in magazines?
Yeah, I still never really understood that, if we're being absolutely honest.
Like, here's a free trial for AOL America Online. It's like, great. What do I do with it?
Yeah, what does this do?
Free CD.
Yeah. Hey, if we're gonna go back that far, remember when you got the catalog where you could buy 17 CDs for $1?
Oh yeah.
We didn't, and nobody got the scam except our parents. We were like, but it's $1.
Yeah, it's Columbia House.
Columbia House
or something.
We're like, no, Jared, you don't understand what's going to happen here. I'm like, it's 17. We can cancel before the expiration date, and we've got 17 CDs.
You know what upsets me now that we're talking about scams like that? Listen, I have had a couple of gym memberships throughout my life. I hate how they are inherently designed to make you go in person and jump through hoops to cancel. I feel like that should not be a thing in a day and age when I can have a pizza ordered to my specifications on my phone. I can find the most, to go back to TJ. I'm making this TJ staple of the conversation.
Thank you for that.
I can find so many different flavors of porn online at my disposal. But to cancel my gym membership in 2024, I have to go talk to a physical human? being that is probably a high school kid that's just probably given some lines of like, hey, when someone tries to come cancel, tell them that they have to wait till an assistant manager is here and that no assistant manager will be here today. And it's just like, oh, okay. But like that bothers me. I love my gym membership right now. Not going to shout them out unless they ever want to sponsor us. But I've been in other places where it's like, yeah, we'll cancel, but you got to come in. Well, you know what? It's 2024. You're about to see the extent of how much I'm not going to come in there, but will immediately challenge you to cancel my subscription. I will mail you. I will fax you. I will bother you with email. I will contact your corporate head office. I will talk on I don't like talking on the phone. I will talk on the phone to avoid going somewhere physically. I am a person that when I go to the gas station and I press the receipt button and it says, see cashier inside, I say, fuck you. And I
Yeah, every time it says that, I go, I don't need that receipt.
I don't need it.
I just want to say two things.
Yeah.
One, I know I'm going to have coworkers who are going to listen to this and they're going to think, oh, wow, he's got a problem.
That's why I'm trying to paint you in that corner, TJ.
Yeah, appreciate that. Number two, I mean, if the gym membership automatically takes out of your bank account or credit card account, right? Can't you call your credit card or your bank and be like, hey, put a stop payment on this.
Yeah.
Like, do not accept any more from this. This is fraudulent charge. And then
you know what gets me, TJ, is that I'm pretty sure, because right now there's probably some gyms in the past that I could have easily gotten away with that because it was more like a local thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm part of now a chain. I feel like they have representation on speed dial. That's just like, another person trying to say we're fraudulent. Well, actually, this good sir signed a contract on insert day. Now I'll say this:
Simpson lawyers.
Where it get Troy McClure here. You may remember me from other law proceedings, such as
canceling your gym membership.
Now I will say where those kind of contracts, where places like that, where maybe fitness happens at a planet, comes back to bite them in the butt, is that if they change anything about their membership fees, well, I'm locked into my contract, homeboy. You said that I have to physically come to you to change or cancel. Well, guess what? If you decide, because what they did recently is they tried to up their membership of what tier I'm on. But if you read the fine print / AKA go to subreddit and say, do I have to do this? Subreddit lawyers will tell you, no, like if you don't do anything, they're trying to convince you to go ahead and upgrade into what the new tier will be. If you don't do anything, you're beholden to what you agreed to when you signed that contract whenever it was. And it's like, son of a... I'm getting $4 off on my membership is what I just learned.
That's why I'm not like upgrading my internet plan on my phone.
Yeah.
Because the original one I locked into has HBO Max. The new ones do not.
Oh, speaking of which,
I want to watch The Penguin.
TJ likes penguins. I remember times TJ come over on Saturday night.
Penguins and porn.
Penguin porn. That sounds like it almost could be a country song. Penguins and porn.
We need to get that guy. We need to get that guy that does all those country songs about whatever AI country songs.
The AI generated country.
I was just thinking how Penguins and porn could be the staple track to Ghost with a Gun.
Well, it could be a sequel, a spiritual sequel. We could be artsy fartsy with our concept and be like, we're actually going for a spiritually related trilogy. Ghost with a Gun, Penguins and porn, whatever the third one is.
So
zombies
to
with
go
the dildo.
Zombies with the
Continue.
We've already had strippers versus just zombies. We can't do anything with zombies.
That's fair. That's fair.
So hang on, let me see if I can find it.
Black hole. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So speaking of TJ's issue with his internet and how he has HBO, I am with a certain phone carrier. Actually, you know what? Hell with them. I'm with Verizon. And a couple years ago, Verizon decided they were going to start it including Disney, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, the Disney bundle, Hulu, ESPN. Yeah. And so Well, now they changed the plans around to where it's like, hey, make it sound like you're in control of your plan. It's like, only pay for what you want to pay. Here's a flat rate bill, and then you add the things that you want. Do you want to switch plans? I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yep.
And so, like, I don't know how many emails I get from them a week. They're like, you want to switch? You want to switch? I'm like, nope, I'm good. Because now I would have to pay the same for my phone bill and an extra $10 a month for Disney Plus and all them. So they've been trying. So I got an email yesterday. You're currently subscribed to the Disney bundle, blah, 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 which will increase from $18.99 to $21 a month. And I was like, well, it's part of my plan, so I don't care. Thanks, Verizon. But then it continued. If the Disney bundle is included in your Verizon plan, there will be no changes to your bill until your next billing date after it is no longer included on or after October 17th, whichever is later. To manage your subscription, go to myverizon.com. And I'm thinking, well, they're finally just going to take it away. They're just going to take it away from everybody. They're like, he's not going to upgrade, so we're just going to take it away.
Yeah, I'm waiting on AT&T to do that because then it's going to be like, well, I guess I don't need HBO Max.
Yeah, so what that says to you, Jared, is it's not just you that's being stubborn and not moving. It's a whole bunch of people, and they're like, well, we're losing money. we gotta do something. All these Jareds in the world.
All these stubborn people that we let them have this, and we're trying to get this that is obviously better.
These entitled pricks made an agreement with us, and now they're not willing to change because we've decided take backsies? The entitlement. This generation's the worst. I remember boomers. They would just die. Like that.
Yeah.
By the way, I am very excited. I want us to my Envision improv game where Jay's the host and Jared have to act out scenarios based on the prompt that he selects.
I like it.
Because it's gonna be a crap bag of some things that are just bad. But I think about some of the weird things that I get worked up about, and I'm like, I could probably channel that into something, right? I could make that something. And this feels like the appropriate outlet to do it, where TJ's like, you're Mayor McCheese giving the State of the Union address for Ronald McDonald Land. Which I did have a thought about in the shower earlier. I was like, how would I go about that? And in what ways do I frame the Hamburglar as Trump in this scenario? And it's like, I think I'll do it. I think I could do it. I mean, I guess Mayor McCheese could be Trump, and then the Hamburglar could be Kamala
Harris.
Kamala. But yeah, so I'm excited. I need to write out some prompts so that way I can just have a bunch of them, send them to TJ, and then TJ can work his magic. But I'm excited to do that. And now on to another topic that I feel like we need to discuss, boys. And why wouldn't it make enjoyable podcast banter? Jared had an idea of us doing some butterfly effects, and I thought, you know what? Originally when Jared, I'm sorry, I died.
Cat just died.
Taco Bell was revisiting. Remember my conversation from earlier? That was based on a true story. So Jared had prompted, and TJ, I don't know if he sent it your way too, but he was like, what if we do a conversation on the butterfly effect? Say, like, the example being, what if the Titanic never sunk? And I was like, yeah, let's do that. That could be an interesting conversation. But then, again, in my shower, where I have most of my deep and intelligible thoughts, I was like, you know what? Actually, I think this was on the ride home from Taco Bell. Another place where inspiration normally hits. And clarity of like, oh God, I made a mistake.
Oh, damn, that was a bad idea.
Why did I buy Taco Bell? They gave me a free taco, aka they screwed someone else's order up and gave me their taco. So some days you win from the Taco Bell, some days you lose the Taco Bell. But anyways, on the drive back, I was like, you know what? Instead of us just having that as a conversation, what if each of us picks our own butterfly effect, and then we basically craft our narrative for what we envision, and it can be the most accurate or insane piece of drab, because it's all fictitious, right? But like, say Jared picks that, TJ picks what if, I don't know, TJ, what's something you're passionate about?
Absolutely nothing.
Porn. Penguin porn.
Penguins.
What if porn never made it on the internet? That could be
What if the internet was
two people? Yeah. What if two people who made the first porn said, "You know what? This is a bad idea."
It's a bad idea.
Adam and Eve.
Just
there weren't cameras then, TJ.
God is watching us all. He's the best POVer of them all. But like, yeah, like, you know, there's all the stuff that's out there that's like easy historical context stuff is probably stuff that you want to aim for, stuff that already has like a big impact that you can start to enable with. But like something like, what if JFK didn't get shot? Or at least what if JFK didn't get assassinated then? Wink. It's just saying, we probably still would have shot him. But yeah, things like that where you just run wild with it. And I think again, it should be up to your discretion how zany you want to make your rabbit hole in terms of what the ripple effect is, or as historically
what if
accurate
Metallica
as possible.
never cut their hair?
There you go. There you go, TJ. As long as you make a compelling narrative, I think that would be golden. Because I think, selfishly for me, that's, you know, like 10 minutes of content that just I could easily cut and make something out of. As opposed to us making it into a discussion, let's make it it's basically story time. It's basically historically inaccurate story time. And I'm excited. So we'll put that on the old docket. Jared, if you want to stick with Titanic, you can. If you want to change, you can. But if you do change, let me know, because I had been thinking about Titanic too.
Crash it area if it landed and made itself.
I feel like, TJ, you can have a lot of fun with that if you want to do that.
So, just to be clear, we're proposing the question, then we might talk about it for a second, and then the other two nerds will rebuttal. Or not
no,
rebuttal,
I'm saying it's basically share your insane theory. you sit down with your question.
What if I didn't get a credit card when I was younger?
As long I think we need to make sure that it has some kind of historical ripple to it, because I think
can't be completely sci-fi.
I think it's got to be some good stuff. But
okay.
I mean, like, you as we get closer to it, and however far you want to ripple it out, like, sure, some things are probably going to get a bit goofy. And I promise you, at some point, I'm going to make mine have a bit absurdity to it.
Oh, mine's going to be completely absurd.
And I think that's fair.
If that's the case, then now that we've kind of changed the game a little bit,
yes,
do we want to wait and pull that off next Friday?
Yes,
I mean,
that way, because
we're not ready now.
I was ready for like a kind of a discussion and like maybe some of the passengers, what they might have done. But if you're putting it on me, I can make it a whole bit.
Yeah, I think bits are where we want to go,
okay.
right?
But they have to be in the historical accent.
It needs to be a historical.
What might have happened if blank?
It's got to be a historical
happened.
Butterfly. The butterfly itself has to be something historically locked in, right? So
what
like
if
Titanic,
this historical moment did not happen?
Yes.
Or
that can be a bit wonky, right? That doesn't have to be a loose and solid. It doesn't always have to be just a straight headline ripped out of a history book.
Yeah.
You know, you can get a little bit cutesy with it. You can take something that is historical and cut out a certain point that has happened down the road. Like, you know, like something to do with Apple. Doesn't have to be the initial startup of it. It can be something that happens in the middle. You can have fun with it.
What if Napster didn't shut down?
What if Metallica didn't decide to sue all them college students using bear shit?
What if we didn't give them damn women right to vote?
What if God was one of us? That's a song that doesn't count. Sorry. Withdrawn.
Historical song. I mean, in a way, it was in a point in history.
Well, just a stranger, or just a slob like one of us. Oh, that's something you could do. You could do a famous person. What if they never existed or got famous?
Ooh, I feel like we could go a lot of different ways with this. So yeah, let's try, if we can, let's try to start making that like a little weekly bit.
Your discretion. You come up with your own project. It's basically show and tell.
Okay, so if we're gonna do it a weekly bit, so do we want to do it like one person per week?
That's probably more tangible.
Okay, so if it's going to be a weekly bit, Jared, it seems like you've already put a lot of thought into the Titanic thing. Do you want to go next week?
It sounds like he wants time to rework it to where it fits the. I
had a basic topic, and I figured we'd use Google for help, which is now what I'm going to do to formulate my little segment next week.
There you go. Okay, so Jared, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay, so next week. All right.
Yes. I thought you meant now. I was like, wait a minute.
No. My butterfly effect is, what if I didn't listen to Jared 5 minutes ago?
What if Jared paid more attention?
What if we all paid more? TJ, do you want to go second or third?
I'll go second. I just want to have a little bit more time to think of a topic, and then.
What if if Chris didn't procrastinate the hell out of this? Well, we'll find out in 3 weeks.
Yeah. In 3 weeks, you'll be like, "Hey, new topic, new thing."
What do
Hey
you
guys,
guys think
actually,
about
we're
the
doing
Easter
a new.
Bunny?
Hey guys, I actually have a new bit that I watched on TV and am now stealing. Although this could almost be like drunk history, I guess, in a certain way.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, in a way.
Except they've stayed historically well. They tried to stay as historically accurate as they kind.
What if the Beatles did not break up?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
the
a
only
good
thing
one.
I can think of now is like they'd still be a big band.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I just
What
have
if
I have
Chris-
no imagination.
What if Chris Benoit didn't go home to his family that night?
Oh boy, that was dark.
Got dark, huh?
Got
What
real
if
dark.
Vince McMahon was not the way he was?
What if Vince McMahon went to church once? What if Vince McMahon found the Lord? I know he tried to fight him eventually at one point in his life, but what if he was what if he was a born again Christian? That's a fair little. That's interesting. Like, what would a good Vince do? What's the bizarro world where a decent human being, Vince McMahon,
I'll
his
tell you
company
what.
would probably fold.
Yeah.
We would. I started saying we wouldn't have near as much to talk about.
WCW would still be around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eric Bischoff would win. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can have some fun with it. Of like, I mean, that sounds goofy, but I don't know. You make the argument. You let me know how non-goofy it is.
Cody and Roman are cutting a promo here.
Good for them. I'm glad they're finally getting along.
They're gonna do a tag team.
They're standing on the 50-yard line at the Georgia Tech thing, and they haven't said anything to each other yet. But I don't know if there's audio behind it because I've got it
Jared,
muted. Huh?
Do you know why they're at Georgia Tech? Well, I mean, I'm sure the show's happening there, but do you understand why that's a big deal?
Because Cody's from Georgia.
And
Well, Roman Reigns played for Georgia Tech. Yeah.
Oh,
He played football for Georgia Tech.
I did not.
And
know
it
that.
also helps. It also helps that Georgia Tech is actually doing decent this year in football.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a.
Oh, they're showing clips of him on the sideline when he played.
It's a nice little swirl of things just kind of working out great.
I think this was kind of inevitable, don't you? Like once they kind of put the bad blood and then the bloodline kind of turned on Roman, it's like, Roman and Cody aren't going to be friends, but they're going to end up working together to solve a problem.
I know fans love Roman right now. I don't think Roman's best character is a face. I think his best character is a heel.
I agree.
So if he's going to be a face, then they kind of had it last week where, he came out there and was like, you all want me to apologize? Well, I'm not. I was like, that's kind of the way we should do it, right? Where he's like an unapologetic.
Well, it's Stone Cold, like a Stone Cold. Like Stone Cold was never supposed to be a face. The crowd the crowd got him over.
But I could also see Roman as soon as he beats Solo and the other bloodline, like one probably just fading off into the sunset, but also being, you know what? Honestly, he probably will end as a face because he'll just become an attraction that shows up once every now. And he already does that, but even more so, where he'll show up at a WrestleMania and then does whatever he wants with his life outside of that.
I mean, honestly, at this point, like he's already probably the third longest reigning champion.
He's down the list of way. I looked that up the other day. There's several people in front of him.
I mean, I think he beat Hulk Hogan's. Beat Hulk Hogan's record. I think Bruno Sammartino. I think Bob Backlund still.
Bob Backlund, and then Bruno had it twice.
Yeah, but I mean, he's up there. But like in modern era, he is the longest reigning champion. But also had the least amount of title defenses. But that's modern era. That's what it is.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But like, I mean, at this point though, like, how do you bring him back? You can bring him back where he just defeats the fake bloodline, but what do you do with him after that? Like,
I think he disappears.
I think that's I think this is like the culmination of his career.
Looking for a way out. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
I think the end goal is that him and The Rock face each other, and then after that, you may see him once every year.
Be like an Undertaker kind of thing.
At a Saudi show or a Mania.
Yeah,
but
like I feel an Undertaker kind of thing. Come back around Royal Rumble, wrestle a little bit, have a match at WrestleMania, go away, maybe come back around SummerSlam, go away, come back around Royal Rumble to WrestleMania kind of thing.
Yeah, because I mean, he's already basically doing that anyways. I think the only thing that keeps him here for a long-term thing is if him and The Rock finally get to their WrestleMania and The Rock beats him.
Yeah.
Because then he comes back to take the next one, and the way that WWE used to work, they would then do a third one because we've seen it twice. Why wouldn't you want to see it thrice? And then, but this day and age, maybe it'll be nice just to see each of them win because one of them is on the executive board of TKO and the other one is just a modern day wrestler. Let them both get their win, and then Roman can, I don't know, go be in movies, go just live life and be happy.
I mean, he's I think like he took some time off to shoot a movie, so I mean, it sounds like he's going down that path. Once you get to a certain point in your career, it's like, hey, let's just be a movie star now. Thank you, Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I think
giving wrestlers a path outside of wrestling.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. Who's
what we need? We
wrong.
need a reboot of Thunder in Paradise with Roman Reigns starring.
Thunder in Paradise. I like TJ's version of the song that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because the actual version is like this really not cool,
90s.
calm
yeah,
song.
it's got to be one of those Mandela effect kind of things. Because I remember that version of the song, whether they changed it like towards the end of the series run to being something more,
manly.
So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember it enough to know.
The Baywatch theme has more testosterone than the Thunder in Paradise theme.
Well, it's got David Hasselhoff, man.
But I'm not even talking about the images. I'm talking about the song itself.
The song itself, yeah.
The song itself is more of a, oh yeah, we're going to have some action. Oh wait, we're just rescuing people from drowning? As opposed to Thunder in Paradise where it's like, oh yeah, we're shooting stuff up. Why does it sound like we're about to have a nice, Caribbean...
We're about to take a nap.
It's like, okay, I'm pleasantly calm, but why are things blowing up on the screen? And that's a question for you, listener, to think about as you process what you just listened to. Because some may describe our podcast as an incoherent mess. Others may describe our podcast as, did those men just have a stroke? While a third group
stroke of genius.
A third group of our dedicated listeners will describe us as, did I, the listener, have a stroke while these men rattled off words? And all of this can be correct and more the next time you listen to Three Lame Guys presented by Rage Nerds. I've been Mr. Cack, that's been TJ, and that has been Nerd Jared. We hope that you have found some form of entertainment in this, and if you haven't, then please contact your local gym and get out of your contract. And if you need help doing it, I am not a lawyer, and if I sound like a lawyer, I apologize. Which is a commercial that actually comes on Sirius XM radio. It's about a guy getting you out of timeshares.
Yep.
And he's like, some of you have said I sound like a lawyer. I am not, and I am deeply sorry for sounding like a lawyer.
Speaking of timeshares, I was just about to say, I think it's easier to get out of a timeshare than it is to cancel your gym membership.
Yeah, I think it's easier to get out of a Faustian deal with the devil than it is to get out of your gym contract. All right, that's enough of us, but all of you, kiss your grandma goodbye because, we can't be there to do it, and we love grandmas, and grandmas love us. We'll catch you on the next one. See you in hell.